So, I want to share something magical with you that happened this week. My podcast hosting renewal is coming up and it is $636 US, which is about 1,000 Australian dollars. So this figure is a bit more than normal hosting because I do have some AI software integration, which does cost more, but it means the show notes get written automatically along with the timestamps and the audio gets smoothed out, making for a nicer listening experience. So I was having this Facebook chat with a lovely listener called LaDawn Steed, who is a student of the College of Practical Homeopathy. After I recently interviewed the College of Practical Homeopathy director and founder, Alan Kramer, and also their president, Som Jandu. So LaDawn mentioned about the abundance mentality, which is encouraged at CPH. And because I'm starting to get a little bit better at speaking up when I need help, even though it still feels super uncomfortable, I mentioned in the conversation to LaDawn that I have this huge bill coming up to pay for the hosting and the AI integration of the podcast. Well, LaDawn jumped into action and rallied her fellow students and past graduates of the College of Practical Homeopathy and shared my story with them. And before I knew it, donations were flooding in from students and qualified practitioners who were all involved with CPH. So this has been a beautiful experience that once again I have learned so much from. One, a problem shared is a problem halved. If you are struggling with something, don't be scared to ask for help. And two, we are powerful and can achieve so much when we stand together. So it is my massive honor and privilege to be able to thank the following students and graduates from the College of Practical Homeopathy. So thank you, LaDawn Steed, Erica Zapp, Deanne Klein, Kristen, Jay, Parthenia, Amy Baggett, Lynn, Alice, Karen, Susan, Brittany Mahoney, Deborah Gottfried, Laurie Yeats, Beth, Grace, Tanis, Sarah Stevenson, Katie, Leah Cousins, Natalia Sahin, Jan, Nicole Benfield, and Emily Chaplin. Thank you so much, College of Practical Homeopathy students and past graduates. I really, really appreciate your help so much. Thanks for listening. Today, we speak with Dr. Isha Banerji, the vibrant principal doctor at the Prasanta Banerji Clinic in India, home of the famous Banerji protocols. After the passing of the much-loved Dr. Prasanta Banerji in 2021, there was a lot of talk in the homeopathic community about what will be happening with the clinic, which treats up to 1,000 patients per day. And it was so refreshing to speak with Dr. Isha today and to see the enthusiasm and dedication with which she is continuing the work of her father and grandfather and the running of the clinic. I also appreciate Isha clearing up some confusion around some of the people that are teaching Banerji protocols and writing books on the topic without the authorization of the clinic. So it was good to clear that up. If you would like to learn more about the Prasanta Banerji Homeopathic Research Foundation, visit www.pbhrfindia.org. That's pbhrfindia.org. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now my mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and welcome back to Homeopathy Hangouts. Today, I have the great privilege of hanging out with the lovely Dr. Isha Banerji. Welcome to the show, Isha.
Thank you so much, Eugenie. I've been so excited for this podcast, and thank you for having me in this. I'm really honored.
It is such a pleasure. I have been wanting to get you on for a very long time. Now, it was your beautiful dad that passed away in 2021, Dr. Prasanta Banerji. And when I found that out, obviously it shook the whole homeopathic world. And I did wonder, what's going to happen with the clinic? Who's going to take over? And then the lovely homeopath, Angela Block, somehow the two of you, I don't know how you were in touch with each other, but I managed to get your contact details through her. And in the Banerji Protocols Facebook group, she had an interview with you. And I'm like, I have to get this person on my podcast. So I am really honored and very excited to have you on here. I can't imagine that anybody doesn't know about the Banerji Clinic or about the Banerji name. It's such a big name in the homeopathic world. But for anybody who doesn't know, maybe just tell us about how you were introduced to homeopathy.
Okay, well, my introduction to homeopathy was by birth. All right. I am the fifth generation of homeopath in the family. And I was born into this, you can say. And from a very young age, I have had no exposure to the conventional form of treatment. It was always homeopathy. Okay. Anything, cold, cough, rash. I was just born into it, which was something so extraordinary. And my siblings as well. And my grandfather and father were so instrumental in everything in my life. So when my grandfather passed away, it was a huge hit for me, a personal hit. And a few years later, my father passed away, which was again a big hit. But at that time, it was more about survival because the clinic, we have a big clinic in Calcutta, which we have about 70 odd employees. And all of that responsibility came onto me. And it was a privilege to have that responsibility, of course, but it was still a big responsibility. And it was not just the employees, because it was also about the families of the employees, because this was the source of income and I had to see it through. But, in a way, Eugenie, I was almost groomed into this because from a young age, I was a shadow. All right. I was a shadow of my grandfather and my father. I would tail along everywhere, in every seminar, in every teaching seminar. You'd find me there, just learning and absorbing all that I could. And my grandfather was very adamant on me taking over and taking charge of the clinic. And he taught me as much as he could. I think all my days were just a big fat lesson. And that was great. That was great because I really enjoyed his company and I loved him very much. So when he passed away, it was tough, of course, but I had dad, and then dad taught me. Then when he passed away, it was necessary to take charge and finally put to use what they had instilled in me. I always tell everybody that I may be a new doctor, but I have a lot of secondhand knowledge and a lot of secondhand experience because every case, every teaching seminar, I was always there. So
it's in your DNA. Hey, we've had Subtashi on the show as well. And I think people in the West sometimes don't know there's obviously two completely different families and the surname is spelled differently. But he's also obviously fifth generation. And he always starts a sentence by, my granddad used to say, and then he'll say, but when you get raised in that way, especially when you're a fifth generation homeopath, I do think that some of that goes and sits in your genetics. And also, I know without a shadow of a doubt that your ancestors are right there with you every single day, giving you inspiration and edging you along. I am sure that your ancestors are sitting there with you right now and every step along the way.
Thank you. So, the Banerji Clinic is a very different clinic because I've not seen a clinic like this in wherever I've gone. It's got a charitable aspect to it. And it's also got a place where you can, of course, pay for the consultation. And now I've opened up an online consultation, of course, because after COVID, we have needed to reach out to many parts of India as well as abroad. But with the Banerji Clinic, we get about 700 to 800 patients a day. And the top level, there are 3 levels to the clinic. The top level is a completely charitable wing. So we have people coming in from everywhere and the consultations are free. And we have about 5 to 6 doctors sitting up there. They're all trained in the Banerji protocols. And in the second wing, it's a wing that, of course, you can pay for consultation and very nominal fee. When my grandfather made this clinic, he actually wanted to keep in mind that he wanted this place to be like a safe haven for the common man of India. He wanted to reach out to as many people possible. And he would always tell me that I'm not where I am because of the rich men. I'm here because of the poor men of my country. It really says something to you when you're said these kind of things when you're a certain age. And you realize what a responsibility you have that you need to carry on. So we've kept it just like that. We still get about 700 to 800 patients. We treat them all. and we never turn anyone away. And we also get about close to 100 to 200, mails per day in our email ID.
Emails.
And
Wow.
yes. So we answer those as well. We try our best because we sometimes miss, but we do try our best to answer each and every mail. And now that we have an online wing, that is also very robust. And we get close to, I can't even tell you the number because it's just so many. But it was a personal challenge as well for me, because so many thought that the clinic would shut. So many thought that, oh, the girl is too young, or she's not going to be able to do it. But I knew that my granddad he had completely trained me. So it was like fitting into the entire thing, and I completely took over, and we've been doing well. And of course, we're also open to people coming in and seeing our work. And because it's a completely different experience to have, Eugenie, to have 700 patients in a day is really a lot. And the operations, we are trying to make it as smooth as possible. But, in running such a big clinic, there are hitches now and then, but we try.
That is the part that I know myself and a lot of listeners really want to see, because in the documentary Magic Pills with Ananda Moore, your clinic was in there. And I think there was also in the recent one introducing homeopathy, I think there might have been some clips in there. I can't remember now. But, you see the queues of people from 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just hundreds and hundreds of people in a queue wanting to get in there. What is the logistics? What does it look like seeing like 700? And I've heard sometimes you can see up to 1,000 people a day. And a lot of us that do hour-and-a-half consultations, we're like, how is that possible? But I know you operate in a different way. So give us a little bit of an idea of, you're somebody standing outside the clinic at the gates, and then walk us through what the experience would be like for somebody like that.
All right. As you have seen in the Magic Pills, it's exactly like that. Okay. And it is very overwhelming. And no matter how easy we make the operations, the lines seem to be a habit. And we appreciate that. We are very privileged to have that kind of people who believe in us and who are being helped. So they come back, they keep coming back. And actually, we have a lot of patients who've been turned away from the conventional medicines, where they've been given a death sentence. They've been told, okay, this is your doom day. So then we get a lot of people who come, there have been patients who tell me, if I die with you. But this is a more gentler and this is a more economical form of treatment. And that's how to be. I'm going to live my life with this, So it is very overwhelming. And as a patient, I'm sure when you come in through those doors, it must get very chaotic, but we try very well. We have a fabulous management team who, and our medicine staff are so great. We really try to make things easy for the patients. And everyone in the clinic, all the employees, all the staff, we are just so blessed. And we thank my father, my grandfather for this every day. We don't start the day without it, And in general, we get about 100 to 200 cancer patients.
Per day?
So per day.
And then do you have one, like a specific, out of those, many homeopaths actually doing consults? Do you have administration staff that take their details and then they go to the next step and then they go to the next step, or how does it work?
Yes. So once you enter into our doors, of course, you have junior doctors who take your gist. We call it a gist, but it's actually a case study, a case history. We go through all the MRIs and the CT scans. So the junior doctors do that. And then it's given to the senior doctor. All right. And with senior doctor, we mean that they've been trained under the Banerji protocols for 5 to 6 years or more. All right. And so that's just faster. And you don't have to go through that again. It's all written in the prescription. And you can talk to the patients more, because we believe in talking to them and counseling them. Because I've seen, with all due respect to all doctors out there, it's just the bedside manners, sometimes they lack, where you need to talk to the patient. Because they're going through a tough time in itself. Cancer is not just an individualistic disease. It's like a family disease. It affects the family so much. So you need to not just talk to the patient, but you need to talk to the family. You need to counsel them. So it gives us more time to do that. So we try and spend about 15 to 20 minutes per patient. Then, of course, the Banerji protocols are there. Now, Banerji protocols are very simple. They're like standardized protocols which treat the disease and not the individual per se. But sometimes we also give medicines for the symptoms. All right. It's just faster that way. If you get a patient for lung cancer, you give the kali carb and the thuja and the carcin. And that's the first protocol. All right. And then they're made to understand the medicines, how to take it. And from our dispensary, the medicines are given and then they're off. And then we normally say, we ask them to come back after 2 to 3 months of the treatment for a follow-up. And then we take that forward. And each and every step of the way, I am trying to record the data because, of course, with patients, the treatment and the recovery and all that on the testimonials, they help. But to get any kind of acceptance from the scientific community, you need data.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm trying right now. And we've anyway got a very good data system. And we have about 40,000, 60,000 cases, all cancer cases.
How, because you've got there's a Banerji Research Center as well.
Yeah, that's in it.
And so when you say 40,000 cases, like, do you publish this and how do people access that? And
so
that sounds incredible.
So my father and grandfather, they have published many papers. And I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard of the Ruta paper, which was very, very widely accepted. It was done with Dr. Shubroto Sen from MD Anderson. And it was we got a lot of recognition for that paper. Right now, since I am really not a researcher, I'm a homeopath, I'm a physician, I focus more on the patient. All right. But I've got this data and I'm looking for people to come. I'm looking for researchers they can share with me the expertise and maybe we can publish a paper together. That is something that I'm getting out there as well from your platform.
Yeah, that's what I love the podcast for. It's so great for connecting the homeopathic world. And I've had some guests on the show that they've managed to connect with other people that have managed to collaborate and do amazing things. So let's put it out there. So you're needing somebody to come over there and actually just look through all the data that you've got there.
Data heaven, Eugenie.
Can you imagine?
When you come here, because it's just there. You have so many patients and you have so many cases. And it's really a place to be. And so this is basically what the clinic has been doing. We've been trying to upgrade ourselves when it comes to collecting data. We've been trying to upgrade ourselves when it comes to operations. And I think we're doing a pretty good job because the numbers are speaking for us and we are doing well, touch wood.
Amazing. And so how many books has the Banerji Protocols published? I've got one with a white cover and black. Yes. It's at my clinic. I'm at home at the moment recording. And also, where can people buy it? Because I bought my book about 3 years ago and it cost me over $200. But for people around the world, like in America, which is actually our biggest listenership, followed by Australia and then the UK and then Canada, where can people purchase the book and how many books are there out there now?
All right. So now I don't think the production of the books are going on. So I'm in the process of getting out another book, which will, of course, be these protocols and more, because all throughout the years that I've been behind my granddad, I've noted a few things down and he's given me so much as well. And which wasn't, of course, it wasn't possible to put into this book, the Banerji Protocols.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah.
So it wasn't possible to put everything in. And he was in the process of making a textbook, a ready reckoner of sorts. And then he passed away. And of course, that was at a halt. So now I've restarted that project again. And we are trying very hard to get all the information that we can. And the protocols, some things that I've also learned throughout this odd 15 years that I've been with him. So I'm working on that right now. But getting this book is tough right now because the publication has stopped for this book. But I'm sure there are people selling on Amazon but yeah, I'm not sure where to get this book right now.
No,
We have
that's,
it,
yeah.
but
Oh, so people can buy it directly from you?
yes, you can, but I'll have to check with the production
Okay.
team and yeah, the legal team and all that.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to ask you whether the protocols have changed over the years or have they mostly stayed the same, or whether there's been many of them added. So you've partly answered that question.
Yes. So most of them have stayed the same. All the first line, the first protocols have stayed the same. The second and the third we've changed it up a little bit, not too much. And of course, because all the diseases and it's not possible to put it all in one book, there have been new protocols added as well. For some cases, we've also come up with a fourth and a fifth line of
Ah,
treatment. Yeah. So that has also really helped us with the efficiency of the treatment.
that's
Yeah.
good. I've noticed that there's quite a few homeopathic practitioners, mostly in the West, who are writing books about the Banerjee protocols and teaching incredibly expensive courses teaching the Banerjee protocols. What are your thoughts on that?
We've never really supported that because you need to hear it from the horse's mouth. You need to hear it from the people who are actually practicing this medicine, this line of treatment through many patients. All right. And we have never really supported this kind of passage of protocols because they add their own thing to it, which kind of where the essence of the protocols, they get lost. And so there have been books that were done by people who have claimed to come to the clinic, and they've spent an hour or two, but they've said that they've been here for hours and they've spent time with my grandfather and father. And actually, my father was also going to file a case against one of these individuals before he passed away. And we haven't followed through with that because after they left, we just wanted to survive. And we just wanted to look after our patients and we wanted to look after our staff who were very heartbroken. But yes, there have been people who have completely exploited the Banerjee protocols. And it hasn't, we've been looking, we've been quietly observing, but I'm just waiting for our book to come out.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't understand why people do that. And that's why I wanted to ask you the question, because I was observing this happening in the homeopathic world and it gave me a bit of an icky feeling.
Yes.
And then I'm almost too scared to ask this question, but I'm hoping that the people that are benefiting, some of them selling courses, selling the Banerjee protocols at thousands of US dollars, has some of that money at least come back to the Banerjee Clinic to help with the free work that you're doing? Nothing.
None.
So they're not even donating some of that money, really.
Really, nothing.
Wow. That shows the integrity of some people. And then also, I'm a huge believer in karma.
Yes.
Huge.
Yes, I am too. So I don't really react with these kind of things. My grandfather has taught me one thing is to just put your head down and work. And my work will speak for me. You coming into that's also my karma. It's because I've worked and because you've heard of me, you've come and you've approached me for this podcast, which I think is really good karma on my end because I just believe in working. I will work and my work will speak for me. And whoever is exploiting these protocols, they'll have their answer and it won't be good. And I actually fear for the patients because what we treat is very serious. We treat a lot of glioblastoma. We treat a lot of bronchogenic cancer. So those helpless people are falling into these kind of traps. And thank you so much for bringing this up. And I would really like to clear it that do not get stuck with these people because they are exploiting you. Wouldn't want to name names, but
it's worth mentioning because a lot of these people, like I said, are spending thousands and thousands. You could just about get like a full homeopathic qualification for what some of these people are spending on the courses. And I just something felt really off. And that's also why I wanted to have a talk with you because I don't like things like that happening. I used to be somebody that if I've had people copy a lot of things that I do over the years. One of the things is that I create what I believe are the most beautiful homeopathic kits in the world with these cases. And until I had produced it, I had never seen anybody do that before. I also had never seen anybody put dots on the top of their remedies to say what the remedy name is until I did it. And I put it out there and then I started seeing more. And I used to get really upset about it. And then somebody said to me something along the lines of, somebody who's copying you is the greatest form of flattery. And I'm like, I would rather they don't actually flatter me that way. I'd rather be flattered in different ways. But then also at the same time, just surrendering to the fact that if we weren't doing great work, people wouldn't try and copy us. It doesn't make it any less annoying. But then I sleep really well at night knowing that I, like you, work really hard. I put in a good day's work and I sleep really soundly at night, and I know my karma's good. So I feel like we're kindred spirits in that way. I'm glad we've clarified that as well, because I wasn't sure whether I could ask that question, but something felt icky and off to me. So I'm really glad that we've talked about that. So thank you very much for talking about that.
We could tell the patients, whoever is getting in these courses, if they could just contact us, or maybe just write us a one-line mail that, hey, is this okay? Hey, is this a genuine course, or have they really been affiliated with you, or are they really associated with the clinic? We'd reply and we'd tell you if someone is genuine, yes. But if someone is not, then no.
Isha, if you had to dream up your wildest dream for the Banerji Clinic, what do you think the future of the clinic looks like, and what sort of ideas, like what sort of things do you want to put in place? So, if you could just dream the biggest dream possible, what would that be?
Actually, I would like to spread around this treatment as much as I can. And I've started doing my bit a little bit, because in India, I've opened up another clinic, which is in the most rural of rural areas. And I had gone there, and it was just a trip that I'd taken, and I realized that there were no medical facilities. There was no nursing home. Then I opened up a clinic over there, and it's doing really well. So this is what I want. This is the essence of me, where I want to reach out to as many people as possible and experience the treatment for yourself, because it has helped so many people, and it has really changed so many lives, where you haven't really needed to take traditional medicine. You can just solve it with this. And that is not saying that traditional medicine is not, the conventional medicine is not important. It is important. All right. But I think there is a future where traditional as well as homeopathy or the natural ways, they can coexist. I think my biggest dream would be to have homeopathy incorporated in a lot of these hospitals, a lot of textbooks, a lot of awareness about it, because it's not just hocus pocus. There is meaning to it, and there is a result to it. And I think I'd like everyone to experience that. I would like a future where conventional and natural could go hand in hand. I think that would be a dream.
That's my biggest dream as well, because the two can work together so beautifully. And at least in India, it's interesting to hear you say that, because in India, at least you do see that, where the two work alongside each other a lot of the time, whereas here in Australia, that's just a pipe dream, which I'm hoping we can make a reality one day. I have a question for you as well, just regarding people visiting the clinic. Like, do you take overseas homeopaths who want to come and do an internship there? Is that a possibility, and how does that work?
We've not had that yet. When my dad and granddad were alive, yes, there were many people who came in and saw the clinic work. So we are starting that again. Of course, if anyone would like to visit, they can just leave us an email, or our Facebook page is very active. So we answer immediately. So if you can just ping us, and we'll get things talking. And of course, you can come visit. The clinic is open, and it's really an experience to be in it. So I think, yes, we are open to having internships. We are open to it doesn't even need to be an internship, actually. Just come and observe. That would be wonderful.
Amazing. But you also don't want people to be in the way. Like, sometimes you can get somebody to come be an intern or to come just observe, but then it's actually more work having them around, because then you have to explain things. Yes. So I wondered whether you have
we're actually used to that, because we have many people working in one building, and we've also had many visitors come. And so we are accustomed to working with guests, and we actually enjoy hosting them. So no problem at all.
That's amazing. And did I read the clinic's how many years has the clinic been around? I don't want to guess, since I read 150 somewhere, but how many years has it been around?
No, homeopathy has been in our family, in the Banerjee family, for about 150 years.
Okay.
But the clinic has been around for 60 odd years, which is my grandfather came and he started his practice at around 1962. So until now, the clinic is just, we've kept it up.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. So, something else I wanted to ask you, just more like it sounds like it's a massive operation to run, and my business brain is just going like, how do they actually pay for all of this? So, do you accept donations, or where does the money come from to run something like this and to be helping so many people free of charge?
Okay. So we've got about 16 doctors. We've got junior doctors and senior doctors, and they've all been trained under my grandfather and father, and now they're being trained under me. And so the money from the clinic, we are a very self-sufficient clinic. We have a dispensary. So we basically earn from the revenue of the medicines. We don't charge for consultation in the charitable aspect of it, but of course there is consultation charges in the second floor. So we get our revenue from there and also from the revenue of the medicines. That is something that the medicines are so economical.
I was going to
And
say that it's so cheap, you can't really
they're
make
very
much money of that. But do you
very
accept donations to the clinic or?
Yes, we do. We do accept donations. And so many people have been kind and they've donated to the clinic and they've really, really helped us get on our feet and helping as many people as possible. And we have a lot of charitable and CSR activities that we do. We try and have a Beat the Heat campaign where, the frontliners who work for us, like our police, are the traffic police, we distribute water in the entire city. So that is an initiative that we do. And I mean, there are many other aspects to it and many other activities that we do that of course are funded by the clinic and by our donors, which is really helpful.
Amazing. Now, Isha, your particular role in the clinic, what does that look like?
So I think after my father and grandfather passed away, I have become the principal doctor in the clinic. And it is a very tough job to have because I also look at the administration of the clinic and I divide my time. But most of my time goes in being the principal doctor. Of course, I've got a lovely team and they really help out in where administration comes in. But I like to dedicate most of my time to my patients. And I have odd 16 doctors under me. So they are running the free clinic. And then they also get to earn a little bit on the second floor. And of course, I also sit in the free clinic because I think that's very important. It's a very important aspect of our clinic. Yes, my role right now is I look after the administration and I also am the principal doctor.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
And people will have to watch our live because I'm sitting here trying to guess your age, but you look so young. And I'm just thinking, how does this woman do all of this? But sometimes you need that nice, fresh energy in a place to get things going and stir things up a little bit. I think it's great. And I love seeing women, especially in a role like what you have. And I think we so naturally are adapted to healing type roles and caring type roles. And I think we come from a different angle and different way of doing things. So I am really happy to see you there at the clinic. It's great. Now, also, what sort of cases do you see? I mean, you mentioned about all the cancer cases that you see, but
Mhm.
I'm guessing you would probably see a little bit of everything. Like, what sort of things would you see in the clinic?
So we get a lot of acute cases as well as chronic cases. We get a lot of skin cases. We get a lot of infections. We get a lot of popular case that we have is of digestion because everyone is eating all kinds of processed food. So it causes a lot of indigestion. And that is arsenic is one of our main weapons for that. And we get a lot of osteoarthritic cases and a lot of cases related to the gut and the digestive system. These are primarily the cases that we get, of course, apart from the host of the cancer cases. Yeah.
Cancer cases can be so tricky, and that's the beautiful thing in India because you can treat everything as homeopaths, right? We have so many restrictions in Australia on what we can and can't treat, so it's actually pretty amazing that you get to see all of that, and you probably see everything from beginning stages to end stages and everything in between.
Yes, that is exactly why I think that this clinic is the place to be, because from when the patient is being diagnosed to when they're coming for treatment, we are there for it all. There are patients who come to us, we see that there's something wrong, we tell them to get the diagnostic tests done. All right. And of course, it turns out to be a cancer or some sort of metastatic malignancy. And we are there for it throughout. Even if the patient opts to go for chemotherapy, radiotherapy, they still want us there because of the side effects, because of just to help them go through that treatment also. So for the symptomatic treatment, we're also there. And of course, there are some patients who want to be there, who just want to take our treatment. So we give them our treatment completely.
And you don't do any of the testing there, and it's not an inpatient clinic at all. It's only outpatient, right? Yeah.
No. We don't have any diagnostic tools. We refer them to other places.
That's probably good, because I think you've got enough on your plate already. So if somebody wants to work there as a new doctor, like how often do you take new doctors on, and what's the process for them to move up the ranks?
We take in a lot of fresh doctors, fresh out of the colleges, because it's just easier to train them into the Banerji protocols, because as Banerji protocols are nothing like the classical homeopathy treatment, where it's more individualistic. In classical, we are more disease oriented. So when they're fresh out of college, it is easy to teach them. It is easier to, and also because they're in that process of that hunger is there to learn and to adapt and to do good. So we take in a lot of college students and they do so well, and we train them for the next year, 2, 3. And as and when we see their capabilities and we see how well they're, because it's a holistic kind of thing. As I told you, we also put a lot of emphasis on bedside manners. So we need to see that how the doctors are counseling the patients and how the patient is reacting to the doctor. And so it's a holistic kind of a teaching that we give the doctor. And then as and when they do well, they go up the ranks.
That's great. I had one other question for you. Just, you mentioned about Zoom. So do you take clients from overseas as well? If somebody wanted an acute or chronic cases, if somebody wanted to.
Yes.
Do they just book that through your website?
We have an email address, so they can just, we have a number also that they can just WhatsApp us, or they can just leave us a message. And through our Facebook, we take a lot of international clients. I have many patients in America, in New Zealand, even in Australia, actually. Yes, so we do take a lot of international patients.
Is that the Dr. Prasanta Banerji Homeopathic Research Clinic? Is that the Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's not the unofficial Banerji Protocols Facebook group, but this is not, this is the official RC Facebook page. Okay. So people can actually contact you through that as well. And if you have got any, I guess, any notices or any information or anything, you can, if people want to stay up to date with things, that's the best place to do it? Or do you have a newsletter or anything else? What's the best place to stay up to date with what's happening at the clinic?
No, so we don't have a newsletter, but if you go through our page, we upload everything that happens in the clinic, and we are very diligent, and we're very active on Facebook.
Okay.
So I realize that Facebook is a very universal platform, and it reaches all of India, of course, and all of the world. So we've decided to keep that very active. And of course, our website is there.
It is a bit of a necessary evil. I have a Facebook group that I tried to get off Facebook a few years ago. And so I spent thousands of dollars creating this membership platform off Facebook, and it was crickets. Nobody joined. Wow. And so we just threw, like, after about, I think, $10,000, my husband and I were like, no, this is not going to work. So we just threw in the towel and just stayed on Facebook. But it is definitely a necessary evil these days. So
yes. Yeah.
Amazing. So, Isha, it was so incredible chatting with you today. I was so looking forward to our chat. I just want to
Thank
check,
you.
is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with? Any final message or anything else that I might have forgotten to ask you that you want to make sure that we mention today?
I think I just want to put out there that there have been a lot of wrong information that there's no one really there to take the Banerjee Clinic forward, or that the Banerjee Clinic has stopped treating patients. And I just want to tell you that's not true. We are very much active, and we are very much still working very hard to reach all stratas of society. And we don't treat anyone different, whether you come from riches, whether you come from rags, it's all the same in our clinic. And we just want to treat and help and spread love as much as we can. And personally, I want to keep taking my grandfather and father's legacy forward. That is very important to me. And I, of course, don't want them to be forgotten, and build on their work, you know?
The clinic is in such great hands. That sparkle in your eye and that enthusiasm with which you're speaking tells me that you have got great things planned. So thank you
Thank
so much for the work that you do. And thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was lovely to connect with you.
Thank you, Eugenie. This was amazing. And thank you so much for having me in this podcast. I hope we can stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you.